Hi, you guys, and welcome back. Rachel here, the Modern Shaman. Thank you for joining me for yet another YouTube Q&A video of the week. And as always, if you are new to this channel, it's my advice that you go to my website, themodernshaman.net. It has a lot more resources than this YouTube channel. This YouTube channel was really honestly just born out of a place where people started asking questions. I used to do those Facebook Lives when that was the thing back in the day. And it's kind of morphed into people asking questions and sending in what they'd like to know. And then I put it on this YouTube channel so that it can be archived a little better than the Facebook Lives back in the day. And if you want more than just this resource, if you want to develop your own psychic gifts, if you want to stand more in your understanding of the elemental world and energy modalities, energy healings, remote viewing, parallel timelines, past life viewing, future probabilities readings, all of these things I offer classes on, like formal classes that I developed in my masterclass teaching curriculum. If that's something that interests you or your heart is kind of calling you to doing that, I would recommend you check out the website. I also, if you're further in your development and you want to stand in it and like offer your services to others, I also have a teaching curriculum for spiritual entrepreneurs. So that's all there on the website. And I hope you find something that feels like, okay, I want to further myself. Or maybe this is you and you want to just stay here learning through this content, which is also a blessing to you guys. If you want to do that, I would encourage you though to send in your questions. You can do that also on the website, where you just go to the website and on that last contact form, you type in your question, it sends it to me, and I put it in the list of questions to answer. Okay, so on that note, I will read off the question of the day. It says, "Hi Rachel, I absolutely adore your vast wisdom on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram." I don't know that I would say it's my wisdom. I channel most of it through my higher guidance, so I can't quite take credit. I don't feel like Rachel's brain is that smart, but I do feel like Spirit is. So there's that. Okay, can you speak about our omnipotent and all-powerful nature? I would like your wisdom on this. Yeah, omnipotent, all-powerful nature. I like this question. I'm centering into it a bit because there's many different directions, and you gave kind of a topic other than a pointed question, like, can I just speak on this topic? And really within the paranormal community, over the different millennia, in our ancient understanding of the mysterious and supreme nature of our being, this has been talked around a lot, and it's been shifting a lot. So your question has merit in the fact that right now we are seeing the breakdown of a lot of systems in which we previously put our spiritual power. So religious systems, and really the belief that other people had the answers that we did not, right? And other people knew more. The priests, the shamans, myself included, this kind of view that there was more power in others than ourselves. That belief system and that paradigm is breaking down. And the awakening of the truth that the individuated soul and the essence of what we truly are is omnipotent is now being more known. And we have things like manifestation clinics and people teaching about conscious creation and how our consciousness creates the world in which we live and our experience, and the parallel universe or the timeline with which we choose to express our being. And so I like, and I feel like the question in itself is appropriate for right now. So let's talk about shaping the question a bit, because we must do that. As I said earlier, our essence, like the core sense of self, is omnipotent. Literally, it is pure energy. There is nothing more than you as pure energy. Like, that is the baseline core truth of existence, that you are pure energy. When that starts to vibrate, sorry, it came out in a weird way, but when it starts to vibrate and frequencies change, it begins to kind of like siphon off aspects of the pure potentiality of being. And that is where we see form. So we have to take something omnipotent, which is your pure essence, which is all potentiality, all possibilities existing in pure energetic form. It's not even in form. It's formless. We have to siphon that off a bit and take portions of it, because the voltage is literally too strong from our human form. And we have to shape it into what we understand and can express in this 3D realm. And that's the realm in which I'm going to speak about it. Now, to do that, we essentially have to limit the power, because form and dimensionality, space and time, are limitations. They are structure, or a grid, or a holding of that omnipotence, of that all potentiality power. And so when something expresses, I mean, I'm literally visually in my clairvoyance seeing like a sun, as if you are a star or a sun, and there's solar flares coming off of you that are expressing down into our material life, this 3D life. But in order to language, in order to use words to you right now, in order to visually express through a video format to you right now, in order to auditorily express through tone and body language and all of this, I have to limit the power and structure it in a linear, systematic way in which one word comes before the other. A sense of tone expresses through my vocal cords. I have to essentially direct it, and that requires limitations. I know we don't like that word. Maybe better use would be to say, I have to harness it and manipulate it and shape it, much like we would shape clay or some other material, to turn it into something useful. Okay, now the success, I'm going to call it success, of a human experience in the utilization of your omnipotent nature, like, is through the integration, the best and highest use of this integrated power. Like, how do we harness it in the best way? And when I say best, I mean a life that feels like I have lived it well, to where it has ability to create, and then it has manifested that creation, and then it has a sense of movement forward through it. So when that happens, we have what looks to us as a human like a successful life. They came, they did something, they were productive on this earth, and they were happy and at peace, or had a sense of recognition. It's not the right word. What is the word I'm looking for? I guess peace, or a knowing that they lived the life they came here to live well. Okay. That is done by the harmonization of body, mind, and spirit, all in unity together, and being of use well. Now, the way we appropriate that and bring that energy in with a sense of precision, direction, and flow and force, the more powerful we will feel, or the more our life will express our power, because we are essentially utilizing the human systems in the best way possible. So this has been talked about for eons. Like every religion has probably talked about this, every philosophy, I mean, you name it. This is know thyself. I mean, literally, this is taught in every way, shape, and form. And it's taught like that because it's true. Because everyone finds this out, right? In their life as a human incarnation. So when we are harnessing our omnipotent nature, we are taking all of this possibility and probability and energetic state, and we are essentially pulling it and siphoning it into our form. And then we have to recognize the most appropriate tool for that expression. This is where a lot of people get it wrong or get confused, because they're taking the energy and the energy doesn't have like a direction or a utility that's appropriate for what they want to do. And so they feel like they're spacey, or they're kind of that ADD brain, right? Where you're all over the place and you're not able to direct the force of your energy into a specific manifestation. There's like a utilization of the shaping and the manipulation of that energy. All right, when I see this coming down right now through my clairvoyance, it looks like the solar flare turning into an arrow and having directional momentum and shape and like a form to it, to where it can materialize in the way that we want it to materialize. Now, this is a lot of the current practices that teach manifestation tactics, intention projects, these types of things, because the way we do that in our human form is we work it first through the mind. So we come up with the idea and we visualize it, we affirm it. So we utilize the expression in the polaric form of positivity. So our world here in the 3D form is a polaric experience, right? Good versus bad, up versus down. We have gravity, we have black and white. We have that magnetism. We literally live in an electromagnetic body and earth. And so on this plane, we have to use those electromagnetic currents in order to process what it is we're trying to create. So you have to use the positive words. That's a simple way of saying that. That's why we state something in the affirmative. I am doing this. I am this person, these I am statements, okay? That creates the positive charge. Now we have the negative in force, and when we start complaining about things, we recognize all the negatives. We are still creating, but we are creating on the negative polarity, which is like with the expression and creation of like decay and death. So this also creates, but it creates backwards, almost like a wormhole or a black hole. So it will suck the energy away or internalize it, which creates, again, like decay and death and disease within the body, all of this. So we must move the momentum in a positive charge and use positive language, positive tone, positive emotional energy once we have come up with a thought, okay? So we set the intention, we state it out loud in an affirmative statement of intention. All right, that's shaping and pulling and harnessing the energy, right? When we move it through the vocal cords, it essentially adds that voltage component and moves it through not just the mind, but into that kind of transient dimensional space of time. It puts it on like a spectrum of linearity and a sequence. Okay, so we've now moved through that dimensional space, and then it moves into the material realm. So we stand and we work with the body. Now, this is tricky to teach because when you're wanting to find harmony with the body to be able to truly harness your omnipotent nature, you have to recognize your body. This is self-awareness. And honestly, people just don't do this. We get too busy, or we don't take the time, or we're not disciplined enough to recognize our own system as a body. And every body is unique, like our fingerprints. So only you can do this. I can't even teach you to do it. I can't teach my kids to do it. I can give them many options, but they have to recognize what works best for their body. And I'm talking like baseline material form stuff. What foods work for your body? What energizes you? What doesn't? Okay? And what doesn't, when you recognize what doesn't, cut it out. You have to be disciplined to strengthen the system of your body, or it won't function well. You'll be sick all the time. The same with the mental, like I was talking about the polarity and using affirmatives instead of the negative words. You're complaining all the time. You're setting yourself into that creation system of decay, and that's when we get disease and dysfunction in the body. So you have to recognize, and you have to discipline yourself with the mind of positive thoughts. You have to discipline yourself with the body. How much sleep do you need? How much exercise? How much air? How much breath work do you need? How much time away from people? How much what energetically charges you? What doesn't? What sustains the form? How much water do I need? Notice these things, because it is not the same for every human form. And you alone can recognize that. There's that know thyself. There is so much power in that. Okay? That is the potency, harnessing your potency, your omnipotent nature of all power, right? And you're harnessing it so that it can truly be used and in the utility of this 3D form. Otherwise, you're just kind of combusting with all of this, and you're kind of doing this and that, going forward and backward. I'm creating in a creation cycle and then a death cycle. I'm like doing good, doing bad, all of this. We've all been there, myself included. I'm human. We're all going through this. Okay. And then the last part, body, mind, and spirit, in terms of utilizing the highest potentiality of that omnipotent nature for you, is the spirit, okay? This is the current with which all of these things flow, and flow with ease or grace. And they have the fastest current. This is when we're manifesting and everything is just showing up, boom, boom, boom. This is when we're in the flow. This is when there's synchronicities, whatever you call it. This is that instantaneous sense of yes to your life. And this is hard to teach also, because there is a personal recognition that has to be felt and experienced in the being that's beyond the mind and beyond the body. This is where what you're doing in your life feels like it is so lined up with your soul. It is just like truth. It is like, this is how I am. This is me. I'm not flowering it. I'm not lying about any of it to make myself look better. Like, this is just like pure me. This is pure how I am, how I feel, what I'm being. This is my nature of my sense of soul. This is spirit expressing. And it feels like to me, it feels like a yes to everything. Like, that's that question of like, what makes your soul feel free or feel like a yes in it? There's no hesitancy or friction or maybe or I don't know. It's just like, if I am totally honest and I am totally in the purity of my truth, like I'm just laying it in pure, clear, and clean truth. This is how I feel. This is what I want. This is who I am. That is your kind of spirit current that will pull you through. in all the things that you do. When that is lined up, it feels like you believe what you're saying, you believe what you're doing, and you believe what you're thinking. That is the harmony of body, mind, and soul. And when you are in that harmony, that is the highest potentiality of utilizing your omnipotent nature through a 3D human expression. That is the fully integrated incarnation. And that is power, my friend. Okay, I'm going to sign off here. Sorry that was a long video, but I hope it was useful to you, and I will see you next week. Blessings.